Mimi siunge mkono mtu asiseme Raila na analea pande hiyo pande hii. Mimi niko katikati ya Raila. Anakula tu usiku na mchana, sio? Anafianza damu na anafura.
1997, 2007, 2013, 2017, he has been on the ballot, and now in 2022, he got cleared by the IEBC on 5th June for a fifth stab at the presidency, seeking to be Kenya's fifth president. Raila Odinga, born on 7th of January 1945 to Mary Juma Odinga, and former Kenya's first vice president under Jomo Kenyatta, the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Raila has been described as the enigma of Kenyan politics, with every election cycle making a gamble with his quest to lead the country. He started back in 1974 when he was appointed Group Standards Manager at the Kenya Bureau of Standards and promoted Deputy Director in 1978, a position he held until he started his political activism in 1982, standing against the KANU regime. Odinga, a man said to have an indelible mark in Kenya's book of history, made his debut in the political arena when he got in the public sector, which propelled him to the benches of opposition politics. A man who has endeared himself to the people as a champion for democracy has sure made it evident through his political journey. 1982, the year of attempted coup to overthrow the then President Daniel Moi, shaped Odinga's political career. The failed coup led to Odinga's arrest, where he was placed under house arrest for 7 months after evidence seemed to implicate him along with his late father Oginga Odinga for being in collaboration with the plotters of the failed coup attempt against President Moi's regime. Odinga was later charged with treason and detained without trial for 6 years. Odinga was released on 6th February 1988, but detained again in September for his pro-democracy agitation the same year, to be released on 12th June 1989, only to be incarcerated again on 5th July 1990, together with Kenneth Matiba and Charles Rubia. Odinga was finally released on 21st June 1991, and in October he fled the country to Norway amid indications that the increasingly corrupt Kenyan government was attempting to assassinate him. This was the time that saw the formation of the Forum for Multi-Party Democracy, a party which fought for multi-party democracy. The country to join FORD, the party led by his late father Oginga Odinga. Odinga was elected vice chairman of the General Purpose Committee of the party in the months running up to the 1992 general elections. Month before the 1992 elections, FORD then split into two, FORD Kenya led by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and FORD Asili led by Kenneth Matiba. Odinga became FORD Kenya's deputy director of elections, and in that election, Odinga won the Lang'ata constituency parliamentary seat. Following the death of his father in 1994, the late Kijana Wamalwa succeeded Oginga Odinga for the FORD Kenya's chairman position, which Odinga challenged and later resigned from the party to join the National Development Party (NDP). In the 1997 general elections, Raila finished third after the then President Daniel Arap Moi and Democratic Party candidate Mwai Kibaki. He, however, retained his position as the Lang'ata Member of Parliament. After the elections, Raila made what could be argued as his first political gamble when he joined forces with Moi, his political arch-enemy. A political marriage occurred between Raila's NDP and Moi's KANU. The merger was called New KANU, a move that made previous admirers of Odinga now seeing him as a sellout to a cause he had once championed for by closing ranks with what they termed as a despot. Raila ended up serving in Moi's cabinet as Energy Minister from June 2001 to 2002. In KANU, Raila was elected the party's Secretary General, replacing Joseph Kamotho. It was evident that Odinga hoped to ascend to the presidency through Moi's support. In 2002, at the end of Moi's 24-year rule, the late president endorsed Uhuru Kenyatta, a newbie in the political arena, to the chagrin of Odinga and other hopefuls in the party, despite Moi asking Odinga and others to support Uhuru. His little contribution to the party and politics made his endorsement opposed, with the argument that he was inexperienced. Moi standing by his choice, discernment rocked the party, leading to the Rainbow Movement, a group of disgruntled KANU members. The Rainbow Movement went on to join the LDP, which teamed up with Mwai Kibaki's National Alliance Party of Kenya, NAK, which was a coalition of several other parties, to form the National Rainbow Coalition in support of the late third president of Kenya, Mwai Kibaki. This move was necessitated by fears that the opposition, which was the Super Alliance, would fail to unite and rally behind a common candidate like in previous occasions, and thus easily handing victory to the government. Raila made his first declaration of support, Kibaki Tosha, an endorsement of a Kibaki ticket. In that election, NAK won with a landslide of 67% of the vote, dealing a humiliating blow to Moi and his then protege Uhuru Kenyatta, who is now the outgoing president. However, the marriage split over what was termed as betrayal by Kibaki when he did not honor the pre-election memorandum of understanding. The NAK MOU was to have Raila appointed as Prime Minister and LDP given half of the cabinet positions. Kibaki instead sought to enrich and increase his own NAK side in cabinet and even appointing MPs from the opposition KANU and Ford people in the cabinet. The betrayal led to a rebellion and a split within the cabinet. A key point of division was a proposed new constitution for the country, which was a major campaign issue for Odinga and Kibaki that brought together their parties. The provisions in the proposed constitution included trimming presidential powers to rein in what was seen as an autocratic presidency experienced with the Kenya's first and second president. Once in power, Kibaki turned around and submitted a draft constitution that was perceived to consolidate presidential powers and weaken regional governments, contrary to the pre-election draft. Odinga opposed and went on a campaign opposing Kibaki and his lieutenants in a country-wide bruising campaign. When the document was put to a referendum on 21st November 2005, the government lost by 57% to 43%. Embarrassingly for Kibaki, out of the 8 provinces, only one central Kenya voted yes for the document, exposing his campaign to ethnic best. Kibaki then sacked the entire cabinet, forming another and leaving out Odinga's team of LDP. Odinga led the formation of a new opposition outfit, the Orange Democratic Movement, with an orange as the symbol, which was symbol for no in the referendum. In August 2007, the Odinga's own Orange Democratic Movement suffered a setback when it split into two, with Odinga becoming head of the Democratic Movement, while the other faction of ODM Kenya was headed by Kalonzo Musyoka, who parted ways with Odinga. In September 2007, Odinga was elected as the flag bearer by his party. However, his bid failed when, after the 27th December presidential election, the Electoral Commission of Kenya declared Kibaki the winner. On 30th December 2007, Odinga and his allies rallied against the decision, calling for mass action. Later, violence broke out in the country, what is now known as the 2007-2008 post-election violence. Following 2 months of unrest, a deal between Odinga and Kibaki, which provided power sharing and the creation of a prime minister position, was signed in February 2008. The deal was brokered by former UN Secretary General, the late Kofi Annan. The first handshake of Odinga to restore peace was witnessed. Odinga was then sworn in as Prime Minister along with the power-sharing cabinet on 17th April 2008.
Mimi Raila Amolo Odinga naapa kwamba.
Odinga took up the fight for another referendum in 2010, campaigning for its victory, a constitution that saw the birth of devolution.
I, Raila Amolo Odinga.
In 2013, Odinga was on the ballot under the Court Coalition, which had brought together Odinga, Kalonzo and Wetangula, running against the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. Odinga garnered 43% of the votes, while Kenyatta got 50.51% of the votes. However, Odinga raised questions, saying the election had been marred by massive failures of the biometric voter registration. Now, due to late submission of evidence, the courts ruled dismissing the case and upholding Kenyatta's win.
No extra time.
Odinga, for the 4th time, participated in the 2017 general elections under the NASA coalition, which comprised of Odinga, Kalonzo, Mudavadi, Isaac Ruto of CCM The election, however, gave Uhuru the win and was later annulled by the Supreme Court due to malpractice and IEBC order to do a repeat in 60 days, which was an unprecedented ruling. Despite the Supreme Court's decision and ruling, Odinga announced his withdrawal from the presidential election scheduled for October 26th. Odinga said he withdrew from the race because his belief was that the election would again not be free and fair, since no electoral process reforms had been made since the annulment of the last election. Violence uproar resulted in parts of the country days before and after the repeat polls, especially in NASA-dominated zones. On the 30th January, Odinga staged a swearing-in ceremony in Nairobi, where he named himself the People's President.
Raila Odinga assumed the office of the People's President of the Republic of Kenya. Do swear.
A month and a half later, on 9th March, Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta made a joint televised appearance in which they referred to one another as brother and brought about the famous handshake, where they agreed to put aside their political differences to allow Kenya to move forward. The handshake brought about the Building Bridges initiative, a document that sought to bring the nation together and solve the issue of winner-take-it-all in all elections. But it was dead on arrival after the Supreme Court said the document was null and void as per the Constitution of Kenya. On 10th of December 2021, Odinga made the announcement that he would run again in the 2022 general elections. Odinga, now this time round with the support of an incumbent, was made the Azimio Coalition flag bearer. The Azimio Coalition is a coalition party consisting of 26 political parties. In what seems to be a different political card, Odinga has the support of an incumbent, something he lacked in all his attempts at presidency. Odinga then named Martha Karua as his running mate, appealing to the women voters in the country. Odinga unveiled his manifesto flanked by his running mate Martha Karua and other leaders detailing his plan for the first 100 days in office. He has been Kenya's serving opposition leader, a prolific politician in the country whose name rings a bell in any corner of the world. His experience in the political scene has earned him a host of nicknames, ranging from Tinga, Hama, Gwambo, Baba, Jacom, among others. Tinga means a tractor, a name he got in the 1990s when he was the National Development Party leader, the party whose slogan was Tinga. He got the name Hammer in the 2000s after he imported a Hammer model ahead of the 2007 general elections. Baba became his latest nickname he got from his political cronies who considered him a political father. Jacom, which means chairman, is however derived from the activities in the political and social scenes, which include chairing high-profile deliberations. The name Agwambo is however undoubtedly the oldest and most famous among his nicknames. The word Agwambo is a Luo word which has been translated to mean mystery, the unpredictable in English. Raila Odinga, the politician, the presidency is close, yet so far. He joined alliances with Moi, much to the chagrin of his allies, in the hopes of gaining favor and boost in the 2002 elections, to a bitter disappointment. He backed Kibaki with the hope of Kibaki returning the favor, another disappointment, and once again he shook hands with Uhuru, this time round, hoping that history does not repeat itself. Odinga is a step away from State House. Brian Amoai, Look Up TV.